That was the organization that built the Riverwalk. You guys see this stage that we're passing on my right-hand side? That stage was featured in the movie Miss Congeniality starring Sandra Bullock. That's where the bikini contest was filmed. Now they asked one of the bikini contestants, please describe your ideal date. And she thought about it, and she thought, well, I'd have to say April 25th, because it's not too hot, not too cold, just enough for a light jacket. Folks, do you remember when they gave Sandra Bullock the microphone? She kind of squinted her eyes and she smiled real big. That's because I was driving by in my boat, folks. I'm just kidding, everybody. Don't get jealous, but do look to the right-hand side. Now, that building on the right, that's the Frisco Western Art Museum. Now, it was made in 2013, and it's named after the late Texas governor and his wife, Janie. From 1930 to 1968, that was the San Antonio Public Library. From 68 to 2001, it was a circus museum. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, come on, Captain Justice, libraries and museums, that's not very exciting. But folks, that building is air conditioned. So on a hot summer Texas day, you might get excited about that. See this iron bridge in front of us, everyone? Now, this is one of 10 iron bridges that were made in the whole wide world. All 10 of these iron bridges are made all the way off in Berlin. That's Berlin, Connecticut, folks. Now keep your hands down when we pass underneath this iron bridge. Because unlike other iron bridges, this one is not held up by welding. It's actually held up by rivets. I know, it's riveting, isn't it, folks? Okay, well, thanks for not giving me a standing ovation for that right there. Especially underneath this low-hanging bridge. We had a professional basketball team go underneath there once, and we asked them all to lay down. Everyone look to the right-hand side. That's Merritt Island. It's a heart-shaped island. It's formed by the roots of a cypress tree. It has a 250-year-old history, and every year there are approximately 300 marriage ceremonies performed on Merritt Island. Now there's an iron table on Marriage Island called Father Massenet's table, made in 1991 by a local artist named Rolando Persigno to commemorate the first Catholic Mass held in the area on June 13, 1691 by Father Damien Massenet. Now Father Massenet knew that June 13th was the feast day of St. Anthony, so he thought it was only fitting to name the river and the city after St. Anthony. Or in Spanish, that would be San Antonio. Folks, look to the right-hand side. That building on the right, that is the Westin Inn, the luxury hotel. On the inside, it has the authentic furnishings of a 17th century English castle. Folks, I was driving my boat by here a while ago. There was a woman standing in front of those doors. She had her cell phone out. She would take a selfie and then she'd back up. And then she'd take another selfie and back up. Now everybody on my boat, they're paying more attention to her than they were to me. Suddenly people on my boat, they all started yelling, waving their arms around, and said, hey lady, look out, you're about to fall in the river. Folks, she wasn't paying attention either. She took another selfie and she backed up right into the river. You don't want to do that, folks. If the local authorities catch you in the water, even if you say it was an accident, that's a $300 fine. Look up and to the left, everybody. Now this building on the left for over 60 years was the tallest building in San Antonio. It's called the Tower Life Building, made in 1929 and purchased for $3 million by the Smith brothers. Now that's the official history, folks. Now all the boat captains were required to recite the official history, but I've been doing this long enough to know